what we're gonna do here is I'm not gonna control the weapon at all. Look at that. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a fully upgraded Liberator Penetrator. With this build, the weapon is going to feel like an absolute laser. And on top of that, you're not going to have ammo issues. So first, let's break down the best attachments, all that kind of stuff. And then I'll also tell you guys my honest opinion about the weapon, how it performs on max difficulty. The first thing you need to know, damage is 60 on this one. It is medium armor penetrating. I wish the damage was higher. Probably 80 would be perfect. So let's start off with the scopes. I'm gonna be honest here, guys. This is kind of gonna be up to you because it really is a playstyle thing, and whichever scope you find more interesting, go for that one. I will say for myself though that the 2x tube red dot, which is the final scope that you unlock, it was around 25,000, I believe, is the one that I really enjoy, and you will see that in the showcase as well. So I would advise to unlock all of these, the reflex, holographic, the reflex sight, 4x sight, and just try them out and really get a good feel so that you get a better idea on which one you want to run long term. Now, the reason I don't think that the iron sights are precisely worth for this weapon though, is that a lot of the times, depending on the enemy type, I do want to have the ability to kind of zoom in and land precise shots, especially if I want to take some single fire shots at the enemies as well. So iron sights doesn't really help with that much. Now let's talk about the underbarrels. If you take a look at the bullet spread, it's pretty nice, right? Like, it's not terrible, but you can clearly see that the recoil is there. However, if you move down to vertical foregrip, look at that grouping and look how much it lowers the vertical recoil, which is really nice. And you will see that once again in the showcase. Now, you also have the angled foregrip version of this, but like the difference is kind of crazy when it comes to the vertical recoil. You lose like 11. You do get ergonomics plus 10, but I do want to mention, guys, this weapon already has pretty good ergonomics. But for this build, we're making the weapon as steady as possible. Now let's move on to the muzzle. Look at the spread when we have no attachment. You see that the horizontal spread is kind of crazy here, right? However, if you slap on the flash hider, it groups the shots up. And when you're combining this with the vertical foregrip, yeah, you get a really good result. So the flash hider has been the best option in my opinion. And finally, the magazine, which is going to be the most important part of this build because it just makes the weapon feel so much better. Per magazine, you're going to have 60 shots. And I've talked about this previously a lot, where I do believe that ARs in general, right, have the biggest issue, which is ammo capacity per magazine as well. Not just the overall magazine count, but per magazine, because you end up reloading over and over again. Well, the drum mag really does fix this issue. And once you combine it with an armor piece, for example, like the Siege Ready, it feels very, very good. The ergonomics on the weapon feels very nice. You see that the circle recenters pretty quickly here, so that's not an issue at all. Once you combine it with Siege armor, it feels like a blast because the reload speed goes crazy as well. Look at that. Boom. That does not feel like a reload speed for a drum mag. You know what I mean? Once again. Boom, just like that. That's all you gotta do. What we're gonna do here is I'm not gonna control the weapon at all. Like, I mean, zero control. I'm not gonna be pulling down the analog or anything like that. We're just gonna unload the whole drum mag and look at the recoil and how steady it is. Look at that. That is ridiculously good, bro. That is so good. So with this build, you're essentially gonna have best of all worlds. The ergonomics are gonna feel great. The recoil is gonna feel awesome. And on top of that, the ammo economy is an absolute blast because per magazine, you have 60 shots. Okay, now let's take a look at some max difficulty gameplay here. The first thing I want to say is the way I like to test this is not bring a support weapon with me so we get a better feel. And I guess the Illuminate, the weapon actually does pretty well. Don't forget, it is medium armor pen. Obviously, against zombies, you're not going to have any issues whatsoever, especially if you're landing some headshots. But even if you're not, they get absolutely destroyed, and you don't have a lot of issues with the ammo economy with this gun. So that is a big plus when you're getting consistently pushed by hordes of enemies, right? And that's precisely where it shines. And essentially, the drum mag really fixes big issues with this weapon. And that's what I feel. That's why I feel like a lot of ARs would benefit from such upgrades in the future as well. Now, when it comes to the new meatball enemies that you see running at me right here, it doesn't really do that well. I mean, you can damage them and whatnot, but it takes a lot of shots. They are very, very tanky. So if you're in a 1v1 situation with these guys, yeah, this is not going to be your best pick. However, against the melee enemies, it kind of destroys them really quick. As long as you're landing your shots, they do get deleted. So it does shine against them. You're not going to have any problems with them. And also the flying enemies, it also kind of deletes them as well. So against the Illuminates, as long as you combine it with a good support weapon, it's going to be pretty dope. Once again, against meatballs, as you guys can see, not the best. Now let's take a look at the bugs. It destroys the medium armor bugs pretty easily. It's not going to be great against chargers. Let me tell you that right away. As you can see here, I'm on a predator-strained planet. When it comes to the smaller enemies, or should I say even like warriors, and including the medium armor ones, as mentioned, it does a great job. Like, it will get the kills pretty quickly. And once again, since I don't have to reload every second and a half, which was the case previously, it does pretty well. Against the predators in particular, it does struggle because it has no stagger, and predators are extremely aggressive. And what happens is, even if you're getting like 1, 2, 3, 4 kills, they just keep running at you. And essentially, at some point, the drum mag, even the drum mag runs out. And then, because you're not like slowing them down or anything, it does struggle. Against commanders, as you guys can see right here, it does a great job. Very quick kills with headshots. Very, very quick kills. And the damage is kind of decent. I wish that it was higher. I think that the perfect spot for this would be around 80. And I do wish that in the future, they give the drum mags to weapons like the adjudicator and the tenderizer as well. That would be absolutely huge. When it comes to the bots, as long as you're landing your shots, it's pretty effective. Is it the best option? No. But once again, it gets the job done. Now, right there, you saw how quickly I was able to land a headshot on that bot. And that's literally because the ergonomics on this weapon is very nice. And the scope comes in very handy, as you guys can see right there. Literally no recoil. There was like no recoil at all. Like, it's actually wild how easy it is to control this weapon across the board, no matter which faction you're fighting against. But obviously, when it comes to the bots, scoping in and just landing those precision shots does feel very, very nice. Overall, guys, I think that this is probably one of the more consistent ARs at the moment, especially if we take into account the fact that not all of the ARs got drum mags and, you know, really massive upgrades. But this one did. Like, this one got affected by a bunch of very cool upgrades, right? There is another AR that I'm working on, and if it does feel better, I will let you guys know. But I can tell you right now, if you're looking for a consistent AR at the moment that has pretty good ammo economy, then go for the penetrator. But do not expect anything overpowered or anything like that. I still think that plasma weapons and explosive weapons have more value overall. But that said, this is a great example that a drum mag for ARs is huge. And as I said, if one day they do add these drum mags to the adjudicator, tenderizer, the ARs that have high base damage, it's gonna feel so good. So I hope that happens. And maybe even under barrels like shotguns, grenade launchers, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, slap a like, sub to the channel. I got more content on the way. As always, stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.